Picture this. You're watching what you think is just another educational anime about chemistry and physics, maybe learning a few cool science facts along the way. Then suddenly you're sobbing uncontrollably at 2 a.m. because a fictional scientist just taught you more about humanity than any philosophy class ever could. That's exactly what Dr. Stone, Science Future, did to millions of viewers worldwide. And trust me, you're not prepared for what this finale delivers. I've been covering anime for years, and I've never seen a series that disguises its emotional devastation so perfectly behind scientific formulas and periodic tables. Dr. Stone didn't just end a story. It delivered a masterclass in how science and emotion can create the most powerful narrative combination imaginable. But here's the thing that's going to shock you about this finale. The tears don't come from death scenes or romantic confessions. They come from something far more profound and unexpected. They come from watching humanity's greatest scientific minds solve the ultimate equation. What it truly means to be human in a world where knowledge is both salvation and burden. But let me tell you about the moment that broke the internet first, because this is where everything changes. Senku Ishigami, our beloved mad scientist protagonist, stands at the precipice of achieving something that every scientist dreams of: perfect knowledge. The culmination of his journey from the Stone Age back to the Space Age is within reach, but Science Future doesn't give us the victory lap we expected. Instead, it asks the most brutal question any genius has ever faced. What happens when you solve everything, but realize that some problems were never meant to be solved? The genius of this finale lies in how it transforms every scientific breakthrough we've celebrated throughout the series into a bittersweet reflection on progress, sacrifice, and the price of knowledge. Remember all those triumphant moments when Senku created electricity, antibiotics, or rockets? Science Future recontextualizes every single one of them, showing us that each advancement carried a weight we never fully understood. And that's when the show delivers its most devastating revelation. The real experiment was never about rebuilding civilization. It was about discovering whether humanity deserves the knowledge it seeks. Every formula Senku derived, every invention he created, every person he saved with science, was building toward a singular, terrifying conclusion that changes everything we thought we knew about the series. What makes this emotional devastation so effective is how Dr. Stone earned it through 3 seasons of meticulous character development and scientific accuracy. This isn't manipulative tear-jerking. It's the natural culmination of watching brilliant minds grapple with the responsibility that comes with unlimited knowledge. The show spent years teaching us that science is hope, progress, and solution-finding. Science Future asks, but what if it's also sacrifice, isolation, and impossible choices? The supporting characters become mirrors reflecting different aspects of this central dilemma. Chrome represents pure curiosity, untainted by consequence. Gen embodies the manipulation potential of knowledge. Kohaku shows us strength that doesn't require understanding. Each character forces Senku to confront different facets of what his scientific journey has cost him personally. But here's where the storytelling becomes absolutely brilliant. The finale doesn't just focus on Senku's individual struggle. It expands to examine how scientific progress affects entire communities, civilizations, and futures. Every invention that once felt like unquestionable progress now carries questions about sustainability, equality, and unintended consequences. The stone world that once seemed like humanity's greatest challenge becomes a metaphor for the clean slate that might actually be preferable to the complex, morally ambiguous world that advanced science creates. This is where Science Future transcends typical anime storytelling and becomes something closer to philosophical literature. It examines the Prometheus myth through the lens of modern scientific responsibility. Senku isn't just bringing fire to humanity. He's bringing nuclear physics, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence. The weight of that responsibility becomes crushing when viewed through the show's ultimate revelation. And then comes the moment that absolutely destroyed everyone who was watching. The show reveals that the greatest scientific mind in human history has been conducting the most important experiment of all, testing whether knowledge and wisdom can coexist. Every challenge Senku faced, every person he saved, every civilization he rebuilt was data points in understanding whether humanity can handle the power that science provides. The results of this experiment are both beautiful and heartbreaking. Science Future forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about progress, intelligence, and human nature. It suggests that perhaps the stone world's simplicity wasn't humanity's greatest tragedy, but its greatest opportunity. The complexity of advanced civilization, with all its benefits, might also be its greatest curse. This isn't anti-science messaging. It's a mature examination of science's role in human happiness and fulfillment. The emotional impact comes from recognizing these themes in our own world. Climate change, artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation, space exploration, every scientific advancement comes with both promise and peril. Dr. Stone. Science Future doesn't provide easy answers. It provides the emotional framework for wrestling with these questions personally. What destroyed viewers emotionally was seeing Senku, who we've watched solve every problem with logic and determination, face the one equation that has no solution. How do you balance human progress with human happiness? How do you give people the tools they need without destroying what makes them human? How do you love someone enough to give them knowledge that might ultimately isolate them? The series finale becomes a meditation on sacrifice that goes far beyond physical or emotional loss. It's about the sacrifice of innocence, simplicity, and the comfortable illusion that more knowledge always equals better life. Senku's journey represents every brilliant mind who has ever looked at their discoveries and wondered whether humanity was better off without them. But the most devastating aspect of Science Future is how it handles hope within this complexity. Rather than ending in despair, the finale suggests that the struggle itself, the ongoing tension between knowledge and wisdom, progress and contentment, individual brilliance and collective well-being, might be humanity's greatest strength. The tears come from realizing that there are no perfect solutions, only perfectly human attempts to balance impossible equations. The final scenes don't provide closure in the traditional sense. They provide something more valuable: acceptance that some questions are meant to be lived rather than solved. Senku's scientific journey becomes a metaphor for everyone who has ever struggled with whether their talents serve or burden the people they love. Dr. Stone. Science Future succeeds because it respects both science and emotion equally. It never suggests that knowledge is bad or that ignorance is bliss. Instead, it argues that the most important discoveries happen not in laboratories, but in the space between what we can know and what we should know, between what we can do and what we should do. So here's why this science anime broke everyone's heart. It reminded us that the most complex equations are not found in textbooks. They're found in the impossible mathematics of human connection, responsibility, and love. And sometimes the most brilliant minds are the ones brave enough to admit that some problems are beautiful precisely because they can never be fully solved. The real experiment was seeing whether we, as viewers, could handle that truth. Judging by the tears, I'd say the results are conclusive.